Greg Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. In today's video, I want to talk about a really cool T-bone walker idea. This is not a unique idea. And what I mean by that is a lot of T-bone walker ideas kind of use this same general region, the same general shape. So what I want to do is I want to walk you through the lick and kind of at the same time show you the shape that this comes from. It's a really cool shape. Charlie Christian, T-bone walker, a lot of old B.B. King comes from this region. So it definitely comes from that sort of 30s and 40s, you know, jazz, blues, real traditional type playing. But it's very, very cool. It definitely, you can kind of see Chuck Berry clearly borrowed a whole lot from T-bone walker, and I think you'll see what I mean when we get into it. So let's jump right in. The lick itself, 2, 3, 4, seems, you know, it's kind of laid back. Now, granted, he plays it in a Strolling With Bones, so it's actually goes by really, really fast. You could play it in a slow blues. So when you're first learning it, you might want to kind of aim for that. But it's a triplet feel, so no matter what tempo you go, you just want to keep it in that triplet feel. So we're going to start C to C sharp. Now this right here is obviously a really common move. Those are the first 5 notes. Those are the first 5 notes of probably 1,000 different licks. But in the key of A, it's the flatted third to the third, to the fifth, to the sixth, to the root. Okay, C, C sharp, E, F sharp, and A. That is also the blue note, the third, fifth, sixth, and root of the A major blues scale. So if you think box 2, but I'm only going as far down as this A right here, simply because that's all I need. I don't solo in the basement. And you can slide it or hammer it on, however you want. But now what's going to happen is I'm going to come down to a G at the 8th fret. This G is actually the flatted 7th from the minor blues scale, but the flatted 7th is a note in the chord, so it's a perfectly good note to hit, especially over the 1 chord in the blues. Remember, we'd have A, D, and E. This is only good over the 1 chord because of the C sharp. We'll get to that in a second. So we have our famous 5, then the G, F sharp. Now we're clearly back into notes that we know, F sharp and E. Now we're going to go to D, okay, which again is out of the minor blues scale, but again C to C sharp. Now notice that we always go from C to C sharp. We never go D straight to C sharp. You almost never see that. You see this. It's kind of neighbor notes is what I like to call it. It's a melodic device, and it's one of the single most common melodic devices in blues. So I hope you'll pay attention to this. And then we're going to finish it off with the 5th and 6th, again, the E and F sharp from the major blues sound. So it's a lot of major, but adding the 4 and the 7 really, gives us a lot of the minor blues sound. And in fact, kind of all of it, because really we're basically putting the 2 scales together, one on top of another. Okay, both scales have a root, obviously. Only the major blues has a 2nd, although we don't use it in this lick. And you'll find that it doesn't come up very often in this position because it's a little out of the way. The flatted 3rd, well, we have that in the minor blues sound. It's also the blue note of the major blues sound. So when we go to there, we have the major blues sound. The 4th note is only in the minor blues sound. You could even add the flatted 5th, by the way, the blue note of the minor blues sound. The E is the 5th of the scale. It's good in both the major and the minor. It's in both. The F sharp is only in the major, the G is only in the minor, and then we're back to the root again. So we have a lot of notes. You could even go down to a G here if you want, right down below that A. There's just so many little things that you can do. Notice that little end of Johnny Be Good. I mentioned that this was, you know, very Chuck Berry-ish. Right? It's all those same kind of notes. So you want to get good at this, right? Like I said, B.B. King, T-Bone Walker, Chuck Berry, all these different guys use this pattern. So let's play it a couple of times nice and slow so you can get it under your fingers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Little faster. Now, as I mentioned, this is a good lick over the 1 chord. I've tried it over the 5 chord. I don't particularly like it. The C sharp and the C kind of just don't work for me. Or the 5 chord, you may like it. Certainly give it a shot. If you like it, by all means use it. You're almost guaranteed not to like it over the 4 chord because our 4 chord has a C natural in it, not a C sharp. That would create a major type of sound. So you hammering on that C sharp over a chord that's got a C natural is undoubtedly gonna dog ear things a little bit. That's gonna be tense, to say the least. That usually doesn't sound very good. So it's a straightforward lick. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play kind of a mid-tempo blues into the looper. Let's play through it a few times. I'll say up to speed. But again, if you prefer, play it in a nice, slow blues. I'm going to do kind of a shuffle thing. So just so we can kind of go through it. But check it out and try and play it with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to wait here and let the 4 chord go by. Here we go. 1. 4 chord going by. 2, 3, 4, 1. Here's the 5. Here's the 4. Let's do it again. 3, 4, 1. So yeah, that sounds good. It works very well. Kind of even, I'll say even over the 5 chord. That 5 chord at the very end doesn't really get in the way. It's okay. And of course, depending on the blues that you're playing, there may not be a 5 chord at the end. It could stay on the 1 chord. A lot of different ways that this could be used. Now, I mentioned that you could play it over a slow blues. You could actually, if you were playing really slow, you could change and make it triplets. A 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and 3. So it'd be faster. 1, 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 1, and something like that. So if you wanted to use this idea over a slow blues, but you're thinking, man, that would be really, really slow, change it from, I'll say bouncing eighths, the swing eighths, to every single note of the triplet. I think you'll find that it works very well. Okay, it's a great lick. It's a great idea. You're going to come to realize that this little shape, this little region, there's a lot of music there. So you want to get comfortable with it. Okay? So, as always, if you have guitar playing friends that you think would dig this video, would get something out of it, please feel free to share it with them. As always, I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon.